Okay, we have our final Razorback of the day, Bumper Pool, and he is ready for your questions. We'll start right here, the third row.
Tyler Shaw with KBTX and College Station. Bumper, when you look at the leaps you guys made last year, going from, your losing seasons to, 9 wins, I guess, how do you keep that sustained success? Is it going to be even more difficult this year, I guess, to repeat that success?
I think winning in the SEC is difficult, in itself. But I've been a part of teams that, like you said, have been 2-10, and then obviously after last season, things completely changed. But it wasn't, an overnight success, and there's a lot of work that goes into it. And you talk about repeating that success. Well, the work is what ultimately can determine the wins and losses. And this team is extremely hardworking. The summers aren't easy, and we know that fall camp's coming up, and that's a grind. But ultimately, if you go in and you work hard, then success will be the benefit of it.
We'll go to your left on the second row.
Hi, Bumper. Johnny Kahn at ABC 3340 Sports in Birmingham, Alabama. I just wanted to ask you about that game in Tuscaloosa last year, about how much confidence it gave you guys moving forward to not only could you hang with, almost beat Alabama in their building, and just could you talk about the performance of KJ in that game and what he was able to do leading that offense?
Yeah, watching KJ, like you said, in Tuscaloosa was such a great game because, he kind of came out and showed how talented he is and he can handle any moment. For us, that game was, just like any other game, we showed that we can win a lot of games in the SEC. We didn't get it. We felt we came up short, let too many passing yards up, and just things that like you watch games like the Alabama game when, yeah, we were close, but for us there were so many things that we could have done better. And going into the next season, just being able to fix those mistakes to be able to have more success.
Front row on the end.
Michael Cobble, WBRZ out of Baton Rouge. We've seen Dwight, obviously, for quite some time and those arms. Just how is he meshing with y'all, and how would you describe his game and what he brings to the Hogs?
He's meshing very well, and, we call him Nudie. The way that he's coming in and kind of changed some perspective in guys, the way that he talks about guys, we need to be more close outside of the facility. And when you have a transfer come in and talk about, how important it is for everyone to be close, it's huge. I mean, this team's close, but when your outside pieces are talking about it, you feel like you're even closer as a family. And when after our workouts, we have guys come up, talk about their story, or just kind of explain some things about themselves to get to know them better. He came up one day and was just talking about, when you see a guy talk to him, you don't know how important that means to him because he just got such a great head on his shoulders, and I'm just excited to see him on the field.
Front row on the left.
Hey, Bumper, Jacques Doucet, WAFB TV in Baton Rouge. Michael, I'll ask you about the LSU guy you got. I was curious about Fouché and Brooks leaving Arkansas to go to LSU. What were they like as teammates? What do you think LSU's getting in those two guys?
Well, they're obviously great players and great people. Joe and I are very close. Him and I, we had a great time throughout our college together. And so when he's going back home, and same thing with Greg, I wish them nothing but success. I'm excited to see what they do. They're great players, but they're people that I hope that have success not just on the field, but whenever they get done with college.
To your right on the third row.
Bumper, how big of a moment was it snapping the losing streak to Texas A&M last year, and just how much are you looking forward to playing them against this year?
Very important, and I'm from the Dallas area, so I've been going to that game, watching that game for quite some time, and to be able to be a part of the team that made it happen was cool, very special. But I think it's also big because it's a big recruiting area also, and they see the Hogs winning in Dallas. That's important. That's big, especially for the Dallas area. So very, very cool game, and looking forward to being back there this year.
To your left, fourth row.
Dan Peck, ESPN 106.7. The expectations going into this season seem very different than the expectations when you were a true freshman going into that season, and some of the expectations that Arkansas had or people had of Arkansas earlier in your career. How significant is it to play a role in leaving Arkansas a better football program than when you arrived?
It's very important. It's also a very big reason why I came back, and there was a lot of older guys leaving. And I just felt that, I wanted to come back to be able to set a standard of how you work, what you do to end a season. Because we had that success last year, I didn't want it to be one of those things where it would just happen and then it's gone. I think that, you need older guys, breathing life into your young guys, saying, hey, this is the way you do it. This is how you go about your business, to be able to repeat that success.
Second row, and then pass the microphone down when you're done.
Anthony Patterson with the Atlanta Voice. I talked with KJ and your other teammate about the loss of Georgia. Both of them talked about how it basically humbled them and made them want to get back to the drawing board. For you, what do you remember about that game, and what was your thought process and mindset?
Yeah, I think going into that game, it was the first time that we had been, highly ranked. And so we knew that it wasn't going to be an easy game, and we knew how talented Georgia was last year. But also, like, it's a lesson learned. We now know what it's like to have, a high ranking, be at a college game day, play a team like that. And we know there's certain things that we have to do differently. And like anything, experience is extremely important. So to be able to have that moment is only going to help us out more this year.
To your left, second row.
Bumper, just to follow up, you guys have had a rough time down in Auburn the last few times you've played down there. You've had some controversial finishes, and that's been a pretty difficult building for Arkansas. Is that one circled on your calendar, and why is Jordan-Hare such a difficult place to play?
Well, like you said, there were some games that we've had some close calls, but I think Auburn's been a team that I have not beaten yet, and so that's something that I would love to happen for us this year. In my freshman year, can't think back to quite a while, but such a cool stadium and a great environment. One of the first college stadiums where I was like, wow, this is truly special. So yeah, excited to go back there and play, and hopefully we can, finally get a win.
Front row here on your left.
Bumper, what did last season's LSU win mean, especially since the defense kind of won the game with the interception there in overtime, and what does it mean when those guys go up to play you in Fayetteville?
That's a big game, especially just because in history, the Arkansas-LSU rivalry has been very big. And so finally getting to get back and get a win, get the boot back in our facility, very important to us and our fans. But yeah, like you said, one of those regions where it's a big recruiting battle. And so the more we win, the better it helps us out. So we're looking forward to having it in our stadium again this year.
Okay, on the fourth row, and then we'll move to the third row.
Could you tell us a little bit about your relationship with Barry Odom? It seems like his former players rave about the kind of coach and the kind of person he is, the impact he's had on you as a player and as a human being.
Yes, he's very intense, very laser focused when it comes to football. He knows there's an on and off switch, and when he's in the facility, it's always on. And that mentality has, been instilled into me, and I've become a better person and a better player because of it. My outlook on the game has changed. I know that there's more of a process to it now that I did it when I was younger. But I can understand why former players rave about him, because he's going to give you his all. And I feel like this year he's only stepped it up even more. His intense right now in the summertime is unlike I've ever seen. And so I'm very excited for the football season to begin.
Hey, Bumper, Jeff Spiegel, ABC 3340 Birmingham. I mean, it really sounds like you guys have something really special going on there in Fayetteville. When you work with these guys during the summer and you're on the practice field with them day after day, do you look at this team and say, this is a team that can win the West this year?
I think this is a team that has the work ethic to make it happen. Obviously, the SEC is a battle. It's a grind every week. But I think that if you don't have that mentality, first off, you don't stand a chance. And I believe that this year we have guys that want it and have the confidence to feel like they can do it.
Any final questions? One last one here.
What do you attribute that you said that this team has the work ethic to do that? Is that just being 2 years under Sam Pittman? What is it about the team that gives you guys that?
So our strength coach, Coach Walker, is the best strength coach in the nation, and the workouts that he puts us through are extremely hard and they're extremely demanding. And whenever you go through these workouts, you can see in people's eyes, if they can handle it or not. And you're starting to see a lot of these, especially young guys, attacking these workouts, feeling confident about it whenever we're finished, knowing they have more in them, and whenever they get to that point where they're breaking, knowing that, hey, this is what it's like in a game. This is how tired you can be, and you got to continue to push through that.
Bumper, thank you very much.
Yeah, well, thank you.